Hello again, it's Priscilla Batzell in Spring Hill, Florida at Expressionist Art Studio. And Arteza has given me some colors, which reminds me, glasses would probably be super helpful. I found them, they were tucked away. And these are the colors there, mixed with my pouring medium. My recipe is below the video. They are Aztec Gold, Regular Gold, Pearl White, Silver, Pearl Space Black, Pearl Deep Brown, Pearl Bronze, and Pearl Marmalade, which is a lot like copper. So I've got my regular mix of black and white, which is half latex semi-gloss paint and half Artist Loft, and I am going to use these colors in that container on that 16 by 20 inch canvas without anything clinging to the back of it, like little pieces of paper like that. In any case, so I am going to eventually cover that canvas with something else, and I want a mostly gold and white and space black picture. Do I? Yeah, I think so. So I'm going to use some of this pearl as my base catalyst and hope for the best. Now, I haven't shaken these in a couple of days. This is the space black, and I'm going to probably put a little more of that pearl in there. I'm also going to take some of my acrylic enamel that is a folk art semi-gloss and a folk art gloss, and put a little squirt of either one or both. I'm going to move that out of the way. I'm not going to do the Aztec Gold. I'm just going to do the regular gold, and I want a bunch of it. Let's go in from both sides. Let's go in from all four sides. And I've noticed a lot of people were interested in gold and black lately. Here's the enamel right through the center. And I'm also going to indulge myself in some of that white squeezed into 4 little squishes. Alright, so the whole point of this is going to go in this this canning funnel. That was interesting. And I'm going to give another little squirt around the top of that space black, which is basically gunmetal gray, as far as I can tell. So, this is the same as an open cup, because it's pretty much the same size as in the bottom as an open cup would be. I'm going to grab my OXO omelet turning spatula, which is my go-to tool of choice for spreading paint. Best paint spreading tool I know of. And I just want a thin layer. Hopefully that's what I did. Give myself a thin layer. Try not to leave any paint around to stop my turntable from turning. See how fast I can do this. So I see there's a bunch of bubbles in there, and I may want to hit this really quickly with the torch to release the bubbles caught in the paint. I generally think that when you're using a spatula, if you're any good at it at all, you probably are eradicating most of the bubbles. But I have no proof of that, because I always torch just to be on the safe side anyway. Now this is paint added to the surface of the canvas to flow other paint, because paint will flow to paint. I'm making sure that there's no canvas showing. I'm going to throw my spatula in the bucket. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just hang on to it for a minute. Now I could do a whole bunch of things if this canning funnel goes sideways. I've got chains standing by. I've got palette knives standing by. I've got a basting brush standing by. Matter of fact, yeah, that doesn't matter. Matter of fact, there they all are right there. That's my #1 go-to. That's my Princeton Art Tool Catalyst spatula. Now it's going in the bucket. Make sure I have not left any gaps. It does not matter what that looks like. So I'm going to hit that really quickly and watch the few bubbles that are still left there disappear. And remember that I put my tweezers into my water bucket, and I would like to be able to grab, after I shake them off, anything that I see, assuming it's not part of the weave of the canvas. Which both of those things look, no, that's where the water splattered that I sprouted up. Okay, so I am going to use, I want to use gold, but I'm going to use some black for my puddle. maybe a little more. Puddle for my funnel. And what's going to happen is I'm going to drop this up from a bit of a height. And that should produce cells. I didn't get any cells the first time I did a dustpan pour with the Arteza paints, but I did not drop it from a height into a puddle either. So let's throw a little more gold on there, right on the top. Because I can. The name of my first book, it's on the Amazon link. It's under Show More on the Linktree link. So when you lift this funnel, and you're going to follow the plan and spin, I'm going to spin it. And see if that does anything for me. I also can leave that funnel draining right into my little cup. Now, one of the tricks of getting a lot of cells, and you can see there are quite a few cells, is to go ahead and hit it with the torch. For whatever reason, dropping it from a height and putting it into a puddle and then torching it briefly will get you cells. I have an edge catcher, which is just at this point maybe going to be a paint catcher. And if I want any other colors in there, I have them handy. I'm just going to go all the way to that corner. And try and move it down the side. It's an acquired skill. I don't really want that to go over quite yet. I've got some paint on my turntable. I have tremendous cells. I don't have as much gold as I was hoping I might. I'm watching the mass of the volume of the wet paint and where it's going, and I am probably going to put some more gold in this afterwards, although I really like the organic. It's very very woody feeling. So I'm going to let that go back the other way. Often I will take straight black paint and put it, or white, or whatever color I want, into a composition like this. But I think in this case, because I wanted it to be gold, I'm very inclined to just go ahead and put some more right in the middle and take what's left of that in the bottom of my cup, which isn't much, although I can get some more out of there with my number 5. I definitely got cells. So the Arteza paint mixed with other things, which reminds me, let's do that too. That's a little more enamel. I don't want to blow in there. I'm going to let that out slowly in a circle. Put that back in my silicone container to drain. Throw my spatula in the bucket. And remember to torch. Probably more torching than I needed, but I got some cool cells and I'm looking for some contrast. Yeah, I skimmed up my surface ever so slightly, so it's leaving a different kind of a pattern up there. I basically want to bring everything so it comes down to this other side. I like the black in there, and I think I want to try some of the space black in there. Actually, I'm going to use it around the edges because I want to flow that paint down. So I'm going to tip it back toward the paint I've got already. Whoops. That was close. Now, because paint will flow to paint, this paint should lead the paint behind it up to the edge. I'm just resting that edge catcher on there. I'm going to let that paint flow down and rock it just a little bit and let it flow back into the painting. Now you see my corner's not covered here, and I can always take the paint off my edge catcher should I desire to do so using a spatula, which I'll show you right now. I can get that out of my hand. So I can take this paint off that edge catcher, put it right there. I've got plenty of spatulas, fortunately. That also cleaned off my edge catcher so I could work with that. I like to put the edge catcher right up against the painted part. So that's the only part that's really shedding paint onto the edge catcher again, which I will use. And by moving all this paint down to this end of the canvas, then I'm going to have a wave of paint that I'd like to send back across on this end. I'm going to move the canvas down a little bit and send it right back in a different direction so I create some interest inside the composition. Now I've got really cool patterns, but I really don't have as much gold as I was hoping to. So I'm going to just give myself permission to put as much gold where I want to. And get on with it. And I still haven't used any chain or any basting brush or anything, and I do have more paint. Fortunately, I have more spatulas on my edge catcher. And paint flows to paint, as I might have mentioned several times now. So I'm just going to take everything that I see that's nice and metallic and bronzy and golden, put it right into my composition. I am attempting to compose. Also getting a fingerprint in there, I can see. So I'm going to tip so that the part of the paint that I want to hit the edge catcher hits it. And then I'm going to keep it on that edge catcher for a minute while I let everything come back. That's pretty interesting, I think. Grab my spatula again. The paint is really pretty right there. I'm going to look and see where I might want to put that down. I'm even going to let a little bit of it go over the edges. So as I tip this back, I get a new pattern, moving in a slightly different direction. I keep thinking about the basting brush. And I don't see why I shouldn't indulge myself ever so gently. Those marks all lined up, and I need it to be more organic than that. Why not use a basting brush? That's pretty cool. You know what? I like it enough. So I'm going to give myself a little bit more. Right up there. Yeah, I like all of that. I like it so much I'm just going to keep going. I don't know how far I'm going to go, but I'm going to give myself permission to do whatever makes me happy. And that, at this point, is a waggle. I love a good waggle, and that is a good waggle. I like that a lot. Yes, there is composition happening here. You are never stuck with what you get. You can always do something else. If you have your paint in squeeze bottles, or even one of my little spoons. Where are my little spoons? I like this. If I had a dish of paint, I could scoop out and add it too. So I really kind of like this a lot, but I want to finish this edge off. With some of that space gray, because it just looks more finished to me. And I'm going to try and get that dog hair off the end of my skewer before it causes me anxiety. Fill in any little gaps that look less than organic. Maybe I'll leave that little hole. Waggle right down the edge. I love funnel pores. And I love basing brushes too. And I actually am very fond of this. It's quite the piece of contemporary art, I think. One more little waggle. So I love you guys. There's over 90,000 of you. Love this here. Pretty happy with most everything else. Maybe one more little dot of gold right there over the side. Maybe more than one. Just using my finger to lead enough paint over. Maybe one right up here too. Just pick up a layer of paint on your finger and do not rub it in, just let it adhere. There's words I'm looking for and they're not coming as I'm trying to do this. So, thank you very much for joining me. If you appreciate what I do, then feel free, please, to look on my YouTube channel for more videos. I have over 1,600 videos on playlists, creative playlists, all playlists. If you give me a thumbs up, it helps me. I really appreciate that. I see that thing down there. You are a thing, aren't you? Yes, you are. Come out. So this is all very organic looking to me. Even the weird basing brush marks I love. I'm going to throw a little more white paint on this fingerprint over here that I left. Very cautiously. Hoping that the Floetrol and my paint pouring mixture is below the video. I think I mentioned that. Thank you for the thumbs up. Really appreciate your help in that regard. Watching the video longer helps me out too. I do have a monthly drawing, and you can see what the prizes in the drawing are on the end screen video of that month's exhibition video. And anyone who happens to be capable of contributing to help support the studio and the production of videos through PayPal or Patreon, I prefer PayPal, can find those links on my YouTube channel header and also on the link tree below the video, which has a lot of links. I'm going to add some more of this space gray to cover a spot on the edge to match what's above it. And the same with the gold, just to match what's above it, and that worked out pretty well. And I'll be touching my edges up for a few minutes. I don't think there's that much to do, to tell you the truth, fortunately. I got 1 minute left to tell you I have Teespring clothing below the video, and there's all over print leggings and all over print t-shirts there, should you happen to need something like that. I have volumes 1 and volumes 2 of my book on the Amazon link under the link tree, Because I Can and Unlimited Possibilities. Thank you for your wonderful comments all the time. And thank you for the donations that help keep me painting all this time too. I really, really appreciate that. My paint pouring recipe, I said, is under the video. On the link trees, Pinterest, Instagram, and Twitter links. And if you have questions, feel free to ask me. I will get back to you as soon as I can. I'm going to go back to torching, and I suspect you guys are going to be gone. Just remember, if you watch longer or you watch when the notifications come out, you're of assistance to me, and my channel is having some issues, as are probably more than just mine. I like to think I don't do things exactly like everyone else, but we're all creatives and we all need your support, so I will see you anon. This is Priscilla Batzell in Spring Hill, Florida at Expressionist Art Studio Gallery, saying I love you guys. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'm going to zoom in and you'll be gone.